Today we're going to talk about Peter Schiff. I want to talk to you about a comment one of you guys made, and also why it's such a wonderful time to be a part of the world right now. So the question is, how are you going to get a leg up? What are you going to do with a small amount of money to make it into something more, or to protect your wealth, or to help the people you care about? Maybe for you, it's investing in stocks. Maybe for you, it's investing in real estate. Sometimes the most important thing for a person is risk avoidance. And now with artificial intelligence, there's going to be a lot of job loss, but there will be a lot of efficiencies for companies. Costs will come down for you on the store shelves, for even consulting, for services. The companies that are doing the layoffs will also benefit in terms of share price. And a lot of new jobs will open up because of all the jobs related to the changes in the economy from artificial intelligence. We've got quantum computing, which is going to change a lot of things. The amount of knowledge we have doubles, and it used to be every 5 years, then it was every year, then it was every month, and it's even a matter of days now, I believe. So in all of this, what's the point? The point is, I'm not a doom and gloomer, I'm an opportunity seeker. And maybe in this case, the opportunity for you is to avoid all the risks that are out there. Preserve your wealth. And of course, there's a ton of opportunities in terms of high quality, low price stocks. But all this aside, the whole point, the question for you, how are you going to play this? Maybe for you, the answer is investing, sure. Maybe for you, the answer is being a landlord, investing in properties. Maybe for you, the answer is trading cryptocurrencies. For a lot of people, the answer is to avoid the risks and preserve the wealth that they do have. We can help you with all of that, and it would really mean a lot to my team and I if you would subscribe to this channel. It'll encourage us, and we'll keep getting you great information all the time. This is such a wonderful time to be alive in the span of human history. There's so many awesome things happening right now, so many opportunities. And the reason I felt compelled to make this video is that we talk about a lot of the hardships of the economy, ways to benefit from it, ways to avoid the chaos, how you can land on your feet, basically. And in all of this, I know that people think I'm such a doom and gloomer. Well, not everyone. People who know me know I'm not. But I just see the dangers. Ever since the advent of the internet, we've been able to have total instant access to all of human knowledge. Now we've got artificial intelligence that's going to bring down operating costs for companies. It's going to eliminate a lot of workers, but products will cost less. Companies will be more efficient. There'll be a whole bunch of new jobs that rise up because of this. There's quantum computing we're getting into. And most importantly of all, we've got all these incredible medical breakthroughs, and we're just learning more and more and more every day at a logarithmic, rapid rate. A lot of lives are going to be saved because of all of this. Rather than being a doom and gloomer, think of me more as an opportunity seeker. I'm looking for what moves you should make, which right now one of them is to sidestep a lot of this trouble and chaos that is happening right now. Dwindling odds of a recession. This is an article from CNBC Pro I wanted to go through with you, and this is sort of what the calls are now. Most analysts are talking about that there's less chance of a recession. And the odds haven't dwindled at all. 100% is 100%. It's a matter of when. It's almost like when you see an advertisement for a medical thing and they say it reduces your chance of death. I've seen that. It says it reduces your chance of death. It actually doesn't. Your chance of death is 100% always. Goldman Sachs is starting September feeling good about the economy. Chief economist Jan Hatzius, he said the Federal Reserve will not raise rates at a September policy meeting. That's in just about a week, a little bit more. And he added that the rate hiking campaign may already be wrapped up. We view Fed Chairman Jerome Powell's promise at Jackson Hole to proceed carefully as a signal that a September rate hike is off the table, and the likelihood of a November rate hike is also lower. I changed his words to make it more clearly understandable. Our confidence that the Fed is done raising rates has grown in the past month. I told you what would happen when they stop raising rates, when they pause, and they start lowering rates. It's going to be tremendously good for gold. It's going to be tremendously bullish for things like oil. The dollar itself will suffer, and everything that goes along with a declining dollar. You guys know most of this stuff. Things like commodities rise in price. Our trade deficit will grow because of that, because the cost of our imports will be greater. and the amount of money we get for our exports will be less. The CNBC article goes on and says this could be good news for a stock market that has been struggling lately. S&P fell 1.8% in August, snapping a 5-month winning streak. Dow Jones Industrial and NASDAQ fell more than 2% last month. To be sure, the bank doesn't expect the Fed to cut rates anytime soon, as the economy remains strong. Yeah, according to them. On top of all that, September is historically a tough month for stocks. S&P 500 averaged 0.5% loss for the month over the last 20 years. But here the bottom line is pretty good. Recession odds may be falling, and the Fed could be nearing the end of its rate hiking campaign. We still have the same odds of a recession. I do believe, even despite what they're saying in this article and despite what most economists are saying, I believe that we'll have the recession sooner than they believe we're going to have it. I also believe that the rate hiking campaign is nearing the end. There may be another rate hike, maybe another one the following year, but most people, and I'm starting to agree with them, that rates are almost near the top now. They're either going to pause soon or start coming down. But remember what we talked about earlier, a month ago or so, I don't even know, that when the rate lowering campaign begins, that could be the moment of the buy the rumor, sell the fact event where the entire market starts coming down at that point. Not saying that that's my base case. I'm saying that you just got to keep that in mind. That is one possibility. And we'll talk about it on the other side of things once Jerome Powell does do the pivot. There's a lot of eyeballs on this, and that always freaks me out. When there's too many people expecting one thing all at once, and there's a lot of eyeballs on it, a lot of dollars in the game, that could set up to be a surprisingly shocking event. But, like you're hearing on the media, if they're saying the economy is strong, maybe I'm just wrong and they're right. If the economy is so strong, then everyone's got a job, and maybe we get out of this and they could totally devalue the value of our dollar so that your house now is maybe worth $400,000. Now all of a sudden it's worth $4 million. And you haven't really enriched yourself. You just are using more dollars to buy the same asset because of the devaluation of the actual money. It gets confusing. It gets a lot of dirt getting kicked up, so it's easy for them to have people boil like frogs in a pot. It's hard to understand everything that's going on, and in that, they get a few things past you that you don't expect that are not good for you. One of you commented somewhere, I forget who it was, one of you commented that you like the long form videos better than the short ones, the vertical videos. Understand, so do I. I like them better because also it's more like I'm talking to my loyal following, people who've been with me for ages. You guys are here still, and I want to, and also, if you remember, you guys are the reason that I didn't give up on all of this stuff and I kept on going. So if it doesn't work out, it's your fault. But you have to think about it. It took me a while to get to this point too, as the one sort of doing most of this. You have to think about it as two different things, because the long form videos like this one, you want to see what I got to say. So you want to click on the video, you want to subscribe to the video. The short ones, that's more, think of it like promotion more than anything. You're reaching out to a whole bunch of people that have no idea who you are. You're getting put in front of them, and some of them will like your message, and maybe they will get involved with what you do. So even in the production phase of it, we have to treat it like two separate, different channels totally, almost like two different platforms. Because the way you give the message is also very different. The way you plan it, the pacing, everything. It gets a lot more involved than you see on the surface. But you guys made me feel so nice the other day. Thank you so much. Check out this. I took a screenshot of it when I saw it. And this isn't an anomaly, but I just wanted to point out the support you guys are giving to us, and that is so valuable to myself because I'm very thin-skinned and needy, but also to my entire team to show them what we're working on here, how we're helping people. 100%, 100%, 100%. I love it. You guys, that's awesome. And keep the comments coming. I do see them all. I can't answer them all, but I do see them all, and I know who it's coming from, and I'll try and do my best to reply to you when I can. And these parts I took from a Peter Schiff video. And if you guys don't follow Peter Schiff, you absolutely should. The guy is a genius. but I wanted to pull out certain parts because he said something that was the best description of what it's like to be a business owner or an entrepreneur that I've seen. So I'm going to share the entire thing with you right here.
I remember when I started my business, my brokerage business, I was the first person to show up every morning, and I was the last person to leave. Nobody worked harder at my business than I did. Now, I don't expect my workers to work as hard as I did because it was my business. They just had a job. I don't expect them to knock their brains out for a job. Right? When you take a job, you're going to work, you're going to get paid, but you don't have to go above and beyond. I was working like 16-hour days. I would never expect an employee to work 16 hours a day. I mean, that's ridiculous, but that's how many hours a day I worked because I wasn't an employee. I was the employer. And that is the hardest job to have. Now, people sometimes they look at once the employer is really successful, he's built a big business, okay, he or she maybe doesn't have to work as hard. But you don't build that business up without working your butt off.
Now I pulled out just this little section here, another 10 seconds here. It just reminded me of sort of what I've been telling you guys. It's all playing out. If you follow Peter Schiff, you'll know this. If you follow me, you'll know this, that we're coming up to what is going to be a quite impressive and not good inflationary bounce.
We didn't even get to 2%. We came down to 3%, and then we turned around and we're heading back up. It's like a plane. It tried to land, and then it missed the landing, and it had to pull up, and now the pilot's going right back up. That's where we're going with the CPI.
This next part's about creating a job out of nothing.
It's a lot harder to create a job than take one, right? If you want a job, just go look in the help wanted and pick one, right? As long as you're qualified, you can get a job. Try starting a job. Not that many people can do that. People can accept the job that's offered to them. It's a lot different to create a job, not just create your own job, but create jobs for other people. That's what employers do, and it is not easy to create jobs.
And also to look at it from the financial perspective, when business slows down, what happens?
What people forget is that when you own a business, you're the last person to get paid, and you might not get paid at all. And in fact, when I started my business, it took a while before I got my first paycheck, because when you run the business, you only get what's left over if there's anything left over. There may not be. There may be losses that you have to subsidize, which means you work 16 hours a day and you don't even make any money. You might have to spend money in addition to working 16 hours a day. The workers get paid no matter what. You can't tell your employees, if you're a boss, you can't tell your workers, I had a bad week. I'm sorry. I can't pay you this week. Let's see what happens next week. No, that's not the deal. The deal you make with your workers is they get paid no matter what. And if you lose money, well, you find a way to get it. You borrow it. You mortgage your house. You do what you need to do. You make payroll. Right? That's what people don't get. It's easy to sign the back of a paycheck. It's very difficult to sign the front. That's what the entrepreneur does. He makes it possible for people to have jobs.
It's usually the business owner who's taking the hit. I've had a few times myself where when business was not doing great, that I was paying for everything out of my pocket to cover my business, which is supposed to be covering me.
The reward is not as big. If you just accept the job, you probably won't make as much money as the guy who's created your job and who is employing you. But that guy or gal is taking a tremendous risk. They might not make anything at all. You've got a sure thing when you've got a paycheck. And that's what workers like about a paycheck. It's steady. It's reliable. You know you're going to get paid. Rain or shine, you're going to get your paycheck. And so you can budget. You know what you do. You can have rent. You can have other expenses that you can commit to because you have this steady, dependable paycheck. But there's a trade-off. You get that steady, dependable paycheck, and there's a limit to how much you're going to get paid. Because when you're a worker, your cost of doing business. Right? You're not a business owner. You don't have unlimited profit potential if you're just collecting a wage. You're an expense. You're a line item, in the balance sheet. But what the entrepreneur gets is he doesn't have a steady, reliable income. He may have no income, he may have losses, but he has unlimited potential.
And this last part I loved because it spoke directly to me. When you run a business, what it's like. I want to end with this note.
But you know who doesn't take Labor Day off in many cases? The boss. He's got to work. In fact, when you own your own business, you may not have any time off. You work weekends. The business is all you think about. Even when you're, at home, you're at work. When you take a vacation, you're working. When you're running a business, it never stops. It really is a full-time job in that it's 24/7.
If you want to stick around with us, one click, it would mean everything to my team and I if you would subscribe to the channel.